going to show you how to install our Madness Autoworks adjustable upper carbon fiber brace bar on this 2012 Fiat 500. When this bar arrives shipped to you, you're going to find it's in 3 separate pieces. You're going to have the center carbon section and then the left and right red or gloss black sections. To put them together, you will have 2 adjustable set screws that you're going to thread into each part left and right and tighten them together until there are no exposed threads. Then you're ready to go over to your car and start disassembly. The bar installs simply with hand tools. As you can see, we have 4 tools at our disposal. We have a simple 3/8 ratcheting wrench. We have about a 10-inch extension, a 13mm socket, and if needed, you will use these pliers to make an adjustment. More on that later. To begin our installation, we're going to need to remove these 2 13mm nuts. There's 2 on each side that attach the radiator core support to the inner fender structure. All we're going to do is we're going to use our 13mm socket and ratcheting wrench to take these 4 bolts out, and then we'll begin from there. Now that we have the 4 bolts removed, 2 on the left and 2 on the right, we're going to go ahead and get our brace bar and position it in place and get ready to install. Because our Madness upper brace bar is adjustable, the main thing to keep in mind when you're trying to align it is that you need to make sure that the holes on left and right sides are going to align with the holes on the radiator core support. Sometimes that means adjusting the bar until there are no threads exposed on either side. Other times it means having some threads exposed on both sides or one side. The key thing that's important here is to just make sure that you can align all of your bolt holes to start your fasteners so you don't have any cross threading. You can tighten it down and lock this center piece in place after the bar is installed. So now we have 1 bolt started on the driver's side. We're over here on the passenger side of the car, and I've gotten my bar adjusted so that the holes are almost lined up. Because this is able to be preloaded with the set screws in the center of the carbon fiber piece, sometimes you do have to give a little push in order to finalize the bolt holes lining up. Then you can start one of your 2 fasteners. In this case, I'm going to start the fastener at the back. All you're going to do is get it just like the other one, couple of threads in, then you're prepared to go back to the other side and begin to tighten this down evenly so you can get the other 2 fasteners to start. Now as you can see, I have my fastener in the back started. It is still just hand tight, it's not tightened down all the way, and I need to align this with the bolt hole that's exposed in the fender core support. All I'm going to do is begin by pushing this over with my thumb until I have it lined up. Then I'm going to have to use my extension because I'm not going to be able to get my fingers down in there far enough to tighten it. So I'm going to get my extension, put it on the end of the bolt, and start that hand tight. The reason you want to start a hand tight is because you don't want to gall or strip the threads, and by doing it by hand, you won't have that problem because you're not going to be strong enough to actually cross thread this doing it by hand. So now that I have that in there, and it's starting to thread a little bit, you'll feel it too. And it's going to bottom out because, again, this is preloaded a little bit. So once you feel it get a little tight on you, and you know it's in there a few threads, you can go ahead and stop, go on to the other side, and do the same process. Now we're back at the 4th and final hole, and this is where our time adjusting the bar and lining the holes up at the beginning is going to pay us major dividends because, as you can maybe see, the hole is pretty much dead on with the hole in the actual fender brace. What we're going to do is a repeat of what we did over on the driver's side. We're going to use our extension, place the bolt on the end of the socket, and then go ahead and get that started hand tight. When that starts and bottoms out hand tight, we're going to go ahead and then start tightening down each corner with the actual 3/8 ratcheting wrench. So again, all I'm doing is I'm pushing the bar because this is still loosely bolted in place and we still have play. As you can see, I'm not putting very much force. And then I'm just going to start this with my extension until I feel it get tight, and then we'll go ahead and get the ratcheting wrench. And as you can probably see, the brace bar is going down. And we're nice and in there. We're not cross-threaded. We're not going to have a problem with these threads galling or going in at an angle. And now I'm all bottomed out. What I'm going to do is tighten these down one at a time until we're all nice and tight, and then our installation is complete. When installing these bars, I told you that we may use this tool, and some of you may have to use this tool or a similar tool, and I'll explain why. On some of the cars that we've seen, the Barts, the 500s, we've noticed that this fender brace that the bar attaches to in the radiator core support is angled at a lower angle down than, in this case, this one was. What that does is it causes the actual angle or trajectory of the bar to interfere with the upper brace cover. So in order to fix that, what we've ended up doing is we use a simple plier like this with a rag around it, and we'll place it up under this brace and gently pry it up so that it goes to the correct 90-degree angle that it needs to sit at in order to give us the necessary clearance under the engine cover. Just so that everyone's aware, if you don't happen to have this tool, a crescent wrench, even your hands will do, because the metal under here is not very hard to move. Just simply a word of warning, because it is an edge, you can get a rag, tuck it under there, and if you grab it with your pliers or with your hands, you can simply pull it up a little bit. That'll give you the necessary clearance, and it'll ensure that you don't damage your hands or your tools or the finish of the vehicle. And that will give you the sufficient clearance so that you have everything nice and lined up under the engine cover, and you can install the spar, no problem.